Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. I don't know how interesting this is going to be, but it's a heck of a show. Yeah, we got to get into Will Howard of Ohio State has mocked the Vols. We're going to talk about that. Also, the Gators won it all last night. Good grief, what a ball game. And it's the fourth time they came back in the NCAA tournament where they were down either double digits or close to it. Virtually every game they were in, they came back in the second half from 10 points down or worse. So let's start out with Will Howard of Ohio State. It says Will Howard admits what his first thoughts were when Tennessee players came out with no shirts on in college football playoff. And you folks remember that. There was a big build-up to it. We had bought 25,000 of their tickets out of their own stadium. And we had talked about taking their goalposts down and throwing them in the river. We even had a graph showing exactly how to do it in a diagram. And all of this had to do with the fact that Ohio State had gotten certain individuals got super butthurt about the flag planting by Michigan that had upset a certain lawmaker, and he was going to make it a felony if you ever did it again, that just demanded mockery. And so Tennessee, being how we are, which is a little bit crazy when it comes to fan bases, and we were super excited about being in the playoff. We were like, oh, we're going to have some fun with this. And Vol Twitter, look, once Vol Twitter smells blood, they're coming. There's nothing else you can do.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear.
Yeah, no pity, no remorse. So they thought, well, heck, if flag planting upsets them this much, imagine what goalpost throwing would do. And you can see right here, this is online on Twitter. Here's Ohio Stadium. Here is the direction they're going to take the goalpost, supposedly. I don't know what road this is, but they're going to go over here towards Olentangy Trail, and it looks like they're going to dump it off of this road into the Olentangy River. Oh, my gosh. So everybody went crazy on that. And they finally cracked the code on how to get tickets. And, of course, if you'll remember, Ohio State was down on Ryan Day like crazy, even though he wanted an 89% clip, recruited like crazy, never got him in trouble at the NCAA. Oh, he lost the ball game to Michigan, of which of the games that he's lost, most of them, Connor Stallions was cheating.
Allegedly.
So it wasn't even a fair match. Everybody saw what they were doing. I mean, it's like trying to play cards with somebody and they know what cards you have. You're not going to win. And then he did finally lose the game to Michigan, 13-10. That was his fault. He should have let his coach's coach, let his offense do what it's best at, which is throwing the ball to all those great five-star wide receivers instead of trying to run the ball up the middle where Michigan had their two best players. But anyway, there was a lot going on with that ball game. And Tennessee came out with no shirts on. It was freezing cold. Tried to mess with Ohio State, and I'll show you where he discussed this. This is on Gruden's QB class.
So now the playoffs start, and here comes the Tennessee Volunteers. It's a cold night.
It was.
In Columbus.
It was, man.
And you see these guys come roaring out of here, the SEC, the Tennessee Vols, without their shirts. And it seemed like they were trying to intimidate you guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, the funny thing is they came out with their shirts on, or their shirts off, and they ran over to the opposite end zone and immediately put them back on. I was like, what are these clowns doing, man? Like, at that moment, I knew we had them.
Yeah, one of the things I don't think he understands is it's against the rules to do that. They had to put the shirt back on as soon as they got over on the other side. But that's fine. I can understand him thinking that. That would make sense to him. And, of course, needless to say, that game didn't go so well. And Ohio State wound up running the table. They whooped the crap out of everybody they faced. And Chip Kelly was allowed to be offensive coordinator, I think, for the first time all year. And they scored and scored and scored. And nobody had an answer for Jeremiah Smith. That guy was crazy good. And when it came to the playoffs, it really boiled down to how much money you spent. You know, Oregon was there, Texas was there, Notre Dame was there, Ohio State was there. I mean, your top four, that was pretty much your playoff. Then you had the Georgia, you had Tennessee, you had some other teams that were in there. Clemson snuck in. But if you weren't on this list, you didn't have much of a chance. And any team's fan base can do that. I'm not blaming Ohio State for raising money. Anybody can do it. It's just a matter of how much you care about your team. And Ohio State fans, they wanted to have the best team they could get, so they ponied it up. So anyway, I had to show you that. Yep. And we probably had that coming. But look, when you're sitting over there talking about firing your coach and, You know, the lawmakers are trying to get laws passed. I mean, it's just, you're inviting mockery. And Tennessee fans are not the type to sit back. All right, now we got to talk about Florida winning the Natty last night. Oh, my gosh. I knew it was coming. I told you, folks. So they're probably the best team. You could just feel the momentum, especially after the SEC tournament. They just kind of ran roughshod through it, and they were hitting those threes like crazy. And granted, basketball is a very fickle sport. Any team can beat any team. It's almost as bad as baseball. Not quite, though. But they looked great, and they kept coming back and winning those ball games. And Houston was up by, 12 or 14 in the second half. And I was sitting there thinking while that was going on, it's like, you don't have them. You do not have Florida. They're getting ready to come back. And it wasn't any time. There's boom, 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 hit a few threes, and they're right back in that thing. And then Houston didn't even get a shot off at the end. The great thing about live sports, it's the greatest entertainment in the world. You'll never see anybody get more excited or crazed than you will a fan base watching a live sporting event, especially if it's up for a national championship. People lose their minds.
You know they're going to go for the win now.
So,
6-5.
don't let them.
That door! Up in the best case scenario!
I'm gonna pass out.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass out.
I'm right here, over here.
Oh, he's fucking passing out.
Give him a microphone. You're on, you're on. It fell off. No, find the microphone. It's right here. It's right here. We're national. Get the champagne.
Look, as much as I dislike the Gators, and you know they are my most least favorite team, I can't really begrudge them for enjoying winning a national championship. I can't. I would have gone crazy too. So while I'm not thrilled for them, I'm kind of borderline a little bit happy for them.
I'm so happy for you. Thank you. Thank you both very much. I owe you both a debt of gratitude.
So it's very begrudged, but they won it fair and square, and they came back multiple times, and I think they were the best team in the country last year. I just do. And if I'm saying it, it's probably true, because I'm not going to give them any grace when it comes to sports, but they won. I can't blame them for celebrating. Crap, we went nuts when we won the Natty in baseball. And if you think they went nuts like that over basketball, if they'd won a football, oh, my God, it'd be twice as bad. It would be twice as bad. That dude in the overalls, he'd be on top of the roof. But anyway, at least the SEC won the title. So we got to get back to winning the football title, though. Ohio State got that one. Big Ten's sitting on top right now, and they're loving it. But we got basketball and baseball. We got to get back to football. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit this little button right here. Won't cost you a dime. This wasn't an easy video for me to do, folks. Guys mocking my Vols. I had to watch Florida win a national title, and you won't hit the button.
I'm not going to beg you. My track record speaks for itself.
Can we stop this cruel game and allow the boy to keep one shred of dignity?
And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.